All right, can you see me? Can you see me and can you hear me? Let me just make sure we have confirmation that you can hear me this time. Okay, I've got confirmation that you can hear me this time. So sorry we're a little late. We had issues with you being able to hear me last time, but I got my AirPods in so you can hear me now. So that's what I needed to know. Great. Well, I am going to share my screen so that you can see what we're going to be talking about today, and we can go ahead and get started. So I am Hanna Broom with Ugly Mug Marketing, and today we're going to be talking about strategic marketing. So I know in the past that we've done some lives about specifically Facebook advertising and possibly some Instagram advertising, but this is going to be more broad. So all marketing, whatever that might look like, direct mail, Facebook, Instagram, email marketing, word of mouth, whatever that looks like, we are going to cover it today. So, all right, so what is marketing? So let's say the circus is coming to town. That would be exciting, but I know that can't happen right now with COVID, but circus is coming to town. So if we put a sign on an elephant, what is that? That is advertising. If we have our elephant go walk through the town, that would be publicity. But let's say that that elephant goes and walks through the mayor's flower bed and ruins it. That could be a bad thing. But what if we get the mayor to say, hey, no big deal. We're excited about the circus. We're excited about the elephant. I can replant the flowers. That is public relations. Then if you get everybody to come to the circus and you sell popcorn or those giant inflatable, really expensive things that all the kids want, that is upselling or cross-selling. So you got them there. Initially, they paid for their ticket and then they bought more stuff. That is either cross-selling or upselling. And if you plan the whole thing, that's where marketing comes in. So we define marketing as the ability to attract and keep customers. So like I said, I'm Hanna Broom. This is my cute little puppy, Ellie, because who doesn't want to see a cute puppy? So I am the marketing manager here at Ugly Mug, and that is why I'm talking to you about marketing. So what I really talk to you about, you'll see everything that we go through today is going to follow this lineage. It's all about the one-page marketing plan. Side note, this is Jessica's book. She puts a lot of tabs in her book. I read it too, but I just had Jessica's copy handy. This is a really awesome book. The whole one-page marketing plan is based on this plan that you see on the screen. It's also what I have here. There are 9 different things that we're going to go through to get together today. It talks about before, during, and after of your clients and what you should be doing with them during those steps. Side note, if you want a free copy, comment below. And on Monday, June 8th, we will be giving away a free copy of this book. So just comment below, let us know that you're interested in receiving a copy. And if you win, we will comment you back and ask for your address and send it to you so that you can dive a little bit deeper than what we're going to be talking about today. So what you saw on this document on that last page is there's 3 different sections: before, during, and after. So before is when the person is a prospect, during is when they're a lead, and after is when they are an actual customer. So what do you need to do with prospects? You need to determine what your target market is, your message to them, and the media you'll use. And we're going to dive deeper into all of this. This is just kind of a preview. When they're a lead, you need to figure out a way to capture those leads, nurture the leads, and convert them into a customer. So once they're a customer, you want to deliver world-class service, increase customer lifetime value, and orchestrate referrals. So this is how the one-page marketing plan refers to all of this. But while we're talking about it, I also wanted to explain the natural progression, which is something that you hear if you're one of our clients, you hear us talk about a lot. So this is the natural progression. Someone is a stranger, then they're a friend, a customer, then an evangelist. So a stranger, so let's say it with Ugly Mug Marketing. A stranger is someone who knows nothing about ugly mug marketing. Side note, you will not be surprised that a lot of times whenever I tell people I work at ugly mug marketing, they laugh and they're like, no, what's the company's real name? That is our real name. So that would be a stranger, someone that's never heard the name, knows nothing about us. So how do we bring them from a stranger to a friend? We get them to know about us. So no, ugly mug marketing is a real name of a company. And then they become a friend whenever they start to like us. So perhaps some of you watching would be a friend of ugly mug marketing because you watch all of our stuff, you follow us on Facebook, you know about us, you know what we do, but you've never actually purchased something from us. So you would be considered a friend. You know us, you like us, but you've never purchased anything from us. So you would be considered a friend. And then to go from a friend to a customer is you actually become a client. You actually exchange some kind of money or some kind of investment to become a friend, a client. There is some kind of exchange. And then the difference between a customer and an evangelist. So, what can I talk about? AirPods. When AirPods came out, I was like, that is the stupidest thing ever. They're going to fall out of your ears. Like, what's the point? And then now I would definitely say I'm an evangelist because I talk about them all the time. So the difference between a customer is maybe you have AirPods, you use them every now and then, but they don't really change your life. Well, an evangelist is someone that you actually have the thing and you talk about it to all your friends and family. Like nobody's prompted me to talk about AirPods, but I love my AirPods. You know, I'm talking to you with them in right now. I use them pretty much all day when I'm at work so that I can listen to music while I'm working, if I'm working out, all the things. So I would be considered an evangelist of the AirPods. And because I talk about it to my friends, I'm not prompted, I'm just talking to you about it because I genuinely love it. That automatically, they skip the stranger phase and go straight into the friend phase because, you know, word of mouth advertising is always excellent because you skip that stranger phase. If somebody you know and trust likes it, you're automatically a friend of that product. So to link it to what we were talking about before, the before is the stranger or friend. During is when they become a customer. And after is when they become an evangelist. So these three categories is what we're about to dive into. Oh yeah, and then obviously you're not making any money with strangers because they're not actually exchanging any kind of income with you. But then where you start to make money is with the customers and definitely with the evangelists because the evangelists are probably reoccurring customers too. Target market. So this is our customer avatar sheet. If you want a copy of this, just comment below, let me know, and we will direct message you, get your email address, and send this to you because this is a very, very helpful document. If you were one of our clients, you will probably remember us going through this with you whenever you became a client initially. So let's say I am opening a ladies only gym. Now I'm going to kind of briefly go through this with you. So the goals and values of the people, the customers that I want to come to my ladies only gym. So this isn't everybody. There's going to be some outliers, but my primary customer, the ones that I'm going to make the most money off of, that they're going to tell their friends about me, that they're going to be evangelists, that's what we're looking at here. So what are the goals and values of these people? Well, if they are wanting to come to a gym, their goal is probably to lose weight or get in shape or something to that effect. And their value is taking care of their body and being prideful in the way they look. Not in necessarily a negative way, but they just, want to take care of their body. Age, I would say they're certainly not 15. If somebody's still in high school, they're typically probably not going to a gym. They're in some kind of sports at school, and they're typically probably not, older. They're not, my grandparents aren't going to a gym right now. So their age is probably, I'd say 25. Gender, it's a ladies only gym, so they're female. Marital status, that's really indifferent. They can be married or not married. That's not going to really make a difference. Number or age of children, because we're saying that the client is typically younger, they probably either have 0 kids or younger kids. Their location, well, I'm not going to market, if I'm opening a gym here in Alexandria, I don't need to market to people in New York because they're not coming to my gym. So location is Alexandria. And occupation, you don't have to get super specific here, but if somebody's paying for a gym membership and they're not doing some like online free classes, they're probably making a decent income. So occupation, it doesn't have to be anything super specific here, but there are situations where you would want to be very specific with occupations. Challenges and pain points, perhaps overweight or not happy with their body appearance and they want to get in shape, and their pain point is that they need somewhere to work out. They don't have this equipment or the resources at home. Where do they get their information? So some of these, they probably follow some like health and fitness blogs or health and fitness magazines. Job title, annual income. Annual income, again, they have to make enough to where they would be able to pay for a gym membership. Level of education, not super important here. Hobbies, perhaps it's like some kind of sports. Maybe they're wanting to get in shape to help with them playing tennis. Vehicle isn't super important here, that kind of stuff. Objections to the sale. Maybe they don't want to go to a gym because they don't want to be judged, or maybe they want to not go to a ladies only gym. They want to be able to go to somewhere with their spouse. So you just kind of have to put yourself in that position of your customer. So again, if you want a copy of this, let me know. We will send it to you. The next thing is your message. So if you confuse, you lose. So what do I mean by that? So if you are setting up an ad, whether that's an email or something in the newspaper or on Facebook, you want it to just be very straightforward. So here's what we typically do. We're like, hi, this is Ugly Mug Marketing. Here's my logo. We do websites, emails, this, that. We are the best in the universe. We have free quotes, and here's all my contact information, my phone, email, address, all the stuff. That's very confusing and really in your face, and it's not very specific. It's not really promoting some kind of emotion. It's just like, here's a laundry list of the stuff that we do, and here you go. We need to be a lot more specific. So think about why they should care. So the person that's looking at an ad with Ugly Mug Marketing, why do they care? Perhaps they are a new business and they need to get information out about their new business. That would be a reason they care. How do we get them to pay attention? So here's a great example. This is Robin and Bridget from Little Cakes. They are some of our clients. And several years ago, they had Unicorn Week. So Robin and Bridget at that time had never been on camera on Facebook. So we needed to get them to stop and pay attention. So we put Robin and Bridget on camera, and that made people stop and pay attention because they had never seen Robin and Bridget on camera before. This must be something important if Robin and Bridget are actually on camera. And you can see over here that 21,000 people viewed this video. So they could tell, hey, this is important. All right, so I want to see, this is like a very specific example. So if I say, hey, look, there's an animal behind you. We don't know how to feel because you don't know if it's my cute little dog, Ellie, who's harmless, or perhaps it's a very vicious tiger. You're gonna feel very different if it's Ellie, my little dog. You're gonna probably want to pick her up and pet her and play with her. But if it's a ferocious tiger, you're gonna want to run away or protect yourself. So that's not specific enough. Let's get more specific than that. A fish, okay? So you are swimming in the ocean and your friend's like, hey, look, there's a fish behind you. How do you feel? You know a little bit more because you know it's a fish, but you still don't know what kind of fish. It could be, the teeny tiniest minnow, or it could be a ginormous fish. Still don't know how to feel. What if I tell you you're in the ocean and I say, hey, there's a piranha behind you? I bet you're going to freak out, right? So I can't just say we're in the ocean and there's an animal behind you, because that person's not going to know how to react. They're not going to know what emotions that's provoking. So you need to be as specific as possible in your advertising. So maybe go back to that new business example. So if you were talking to someone about a new business, you need to say, hey, look, we understand that when you open a new business, the struggle is real and we are here to help you. And give specific examples of how we can help you. Don't just say, hey, we know it's hard. If you need help, we can help you, because it's not specific enough. People buy with emotion and justify with logic. So if you're in the ocean and someone tells you there's a piranha behind you, you freak out and you're scared and you run or swim away. But in that second, in that very moment, you're not thinking, Piranhas are known to harm people. And if I get bit, I might die. Like, you don't think about all that. You freak out, you run, and then later you realize the logic behind why you ran. The same thing's true. If girls are out there, if you are walking through a store and you see some super cute shoes, you're like, I want those. You don't necessarily think about all the places you can wear them and how expensive they are and all that stuff. You're just like, I love those shoes. I want to wear those shoes. And you get them and you later justify that with logic. Here's where I can wear them. The price is good because, yeah, they might be expensive, but I'm going to wear them all the time. Like, you justify that stuff later. Okay, let's talk about media. Use the media that your market consumes. So what do I mean by that? These are a bunch of different marketing channels. So radio, social media, we're going to go through social media more in just a second, catalog, TV, physical location, website, all this stuff. So let's take, for example, if I'm marketing to my grandparents who aren't really technologically savvy, I'm not going to try to provoke them with an email. I'm not going to send them an email and say, hey, you need this, because yes, my grandfather has an email address, but he's not going to open it and make a purchase via email. But they watch TV a lot and they definitely check their mail. So if I'm trying to reach grandparents, I should reach them via TV and direct mail, not email or social media. Same thing is true with like a younger audience. So if I am trying to sell clothes from a local boutique, I would like to do social media, not TV. Like the younger generations are not typically watching the evening news. So just kind of think about that. These are all the different social media channels, not all of them, I know there's more, but the most common ones. So Pinterest is great if you are trying to, maybe you're a food blogger and you want people to blog your recipes. I know I go to Pinterest all the time for recipes. So Pinterest is a great avenue for food. It wouldn't be a great avenue for maybe like a local insurance company or something like that. Pinterest is more like inspirational, not practical. Twitter, it's primarily based on text, so it would not be a good thing for a local boutique if you're trying to sell clothes and you want pictures of your clothes, because Twitter is not focused on clothes. Where that would be helpful is if you're on Instagram. I know all my favorite boutiques, I follow them on Instagram so I can see pictures of their clothes. So the average age for Instagram users is that 25 to 34 age range. And from all of my friends, I can tell that is very accurate. And though it says on this graphic that 25% of users on Facebook are that age range, the average age of a Facebook user is 40. So actually Facebook is a little bit higher in age, around that 40, whereas Instagram is closer to your 30s. And then Snapchat, I have younger cousins that try to Snapchat me and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So this is very accurate that Snapchat is typically younger, 12 to 24. And then LinkedIn is more business, corporate, that kind of stuff. You're not going to sell clothes for a boutique on LinkedIn. So the thing that we really, really love about Facebook, and you hear us talk about Facebook a lot, and the reason why is it's super duper targeted. So on TV or radio, everybody that watches that TV station and everybody that listens to that radio station is going to hear your ad, whether it's your target audience or not. That's not the case with Facebook. So, you know how Facebook knows entirely too much about us? It's true, they do. So on Facebook, if you're not familiar, when we set up ads, we actually set them up in very detailed targeting. So say that we are trying to run ads for a pizza restaurant. So I can go in and look at all these different audiences, specific demographics, detailed targeting. So I can look at ages, parents. If I'm running an ad, that's going back to that customer avatar, but they were asking like parents and stuff. So if you're running ads about some kind of baby toy, you don't want to run it to teenagers, parents of teenagers. You want to run it to new parents or parents with toddlers. This is the one for the pizza restaurant. You know, you want to run the ads right around lunchtime and right around dinner time. You know, a pizza ad at 3 a.m., it might make you crave it, but it's not super proactive. This is another one. If you are a local business, like that local gym we were talking about earlier, you only want to run it in Alexandria or in your location. You don't want to run it in New York because it's irrelevant. And then if we have a pizza restaurant, you can specifically go in and say, I want this ad to reach people that like pizza. So you'll see all of these different options, but we can go even deeper than just these options. One is the most dangerous number. So what do I mean by that? I say this all the time. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So we have a client that Facebook works very, very well for her and for their business, but we don't put all of our eggs in that basket. We use Facebook to gain email addresses for their newsletter list, because what if Facebook just shuts us down one day and we don't have access to all of that traction we've gained on Facebook? Well, hey, we have all their email addresses, and that is information we now own and we can utilize whenever we want. So diversify yourself. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. All right, number 4 is lead capture. So what I was just talking about was growing your newsletter list via Facebook, capturing leads, same thing. So this is a client that, the one I was just talking about, we are trying to grow their newsletter list so that we can target them both via Facebook and newsletter. Newsletter is great because yes, you may pay to get that lead and get that email address, but once you have it, you can email them as often as you want, basically for free. I mean, yes, you have to pay for MailChimp or Constant Contact, whatever you use for your email service, but it's very inexpensive. So here is a client. Anybody that knows me here knows that I love running split tests and just being able to see what's working and what's not working. So here we started with a client. We started running some ads, and we were at the bottom here, you'll see the most expensive lead we got was $20 a lead, which is very expensive, and that's not what we wanted. So we constantly worked harder and harder. We turned that one off, tried a different ad, all these different audience, different creative, different times of the day, all this different stuff to figure out how we can get that cost per lead lower. So you'll see here, we went from 20 to 11 to 9. Then this next screen, you'll see that we have constantly progressed from $20 to lead to 85 cents a lead, which we are very proud of. So that is something you'll see that we got over 1,700 people added to the newsletter list just through pulling stuff from Facebook, running ads on Facebook saying, hey, is this something you're interested in? If so, sign up for our newsletter and we'll send you more information. So those leads are now in our inventory. So again, that just really emphasizes the importance of split testing, trying new things. If something doesn't work the first time, don't just disregard it. Keep editing it until you can get it down. We got it from $20 a lead to 85 cents a lead. Lead nurturing system. All right, so this guy right here is the world's best salesman. Why? He sold 13,000 cars, an average of 6 cars per day. His best day, he sold 18 vehicles. On his best month, he sold 174 vehicles, on and on. I mean, his average was, 6 per day. That's unheard of. He sold them all one by one. They weren't any kind of like bulk sales or anything like that. He sold 95% of the cars in all dealerships across North America. How? Don't we all want to be this guy? Cards. So for every single holiday, all of those people, all of those leads, so all these people that came and perhaps saw him, wanted to buy a vehicle, but it wasn't the right time or something, he wrote down their address, he had access to that information and started utilizing it. So for every holiday, whether it was Valentine's Day or Christmas or Thanksgiving or their birthday or whatever it might be, he sent them a card. After he met with them the first time, he sent them a thank you card, and then so on and so forth for every single holiday, whether they never purchased anything from him, whether they bought 7 vehicles from him, Didn't matter. He constantly sent them these cards. And that's just a way of nurturing these leads. You want to keep your name in the back of their mind so that when it comes time for them to buy, say, a card, they're going to come straight to you. They don't have to think twice about it. Sales conversion strategy. All right, so I got to find my paper because I'm going to mess this up if I don't. So this is a subway in Washington, D.C. Someone was here playing their violin. He made $37 in 1 hour as a street performer. So if you're listening and you're from Louisiana, I'm sure you've been to New Orleans and you see those street performers playing their guitar and people throw dollar bills into their guitar case. They don't make very much. This guy made $37 in 1 hour. He was in a subway. The night before, this man, this is a true story, by the way, this man was playing in Boston Symphony Hall, and he made over $100,000. It's all about perspective. So if someone is coming to be your client and you give them a proposal with tons of typos and it looks all out of whack, it's perspective. They're like, hey, if you give me a proposal that has typos in it, what makes me believe that you are going to do a good job on my website? You have to frame yourself. You have to tell people, you have to be good at what you do from point A to Z. Because if you have any kind of hiccups, it's just a symptom of what could be. So build your frame, admit it, vision it, draw it, build it, live it, review it. Again, people buy with emotion and justify with logic. So if you're given a proposal that's perhaps like handwritten with a bunch of scratch outs, like people aren't going to feel emotionally invested that you're going to do a good job for them. But if you have a proposal that's very organized and very detailed, it just evokes that emotion that you are going to do a good job, that you're good at what you do. World-class experience. So I don't know if you know this about Ugly Mug. I am not in front of our main bookshelf, but Wayne, our owner, reads tons and tons of books, and thankfully he gives us the opportunity to learn as well. And we read and have book clubs in our office because reading is learning. This is one of my favorite books that we actually haven't even read the book. We have learned tons about him. I'm going to show you a link to it, some information that we've learned from him, but it's changed. You will hear in our office us say criminal or unbelievable or surprising all the time. So this guy, Ron Kaufman, he talked about uplifting service, and it's those 6 levels of service and how those implement in your business. So just a simple thing would be like expected or desired is like what your customer expects. Like you expect when you go to McDonald's to get what you ordered, hopefully. What would be criminal is if you go to McDonald's and you order your food and pay for it, and then they're like, actually, we're out of everything and you have to leave and we're not giving you your money back. That would be criminal. Unbelievable would be if you pulled up at McDonald's and they brought your meal out to your car with some roses. Like that would be very unexpected and very unbelievable. So Ron Kaufman talks about a situation where he used a taxi service. I believe he lives in like a bigger city, and he had used this taxi service for a while. And he said, hey, look, I have a really big meeting tomorrow. I need to be up at 5. I'm really scared that I'm going to miss my wake up call. Can you call me at 5 o'clock and make sure I'm awake? The taxi driver said, sure, I'll call you. So the taxi driver called at 5 o'clock and the phone was off the hook. So the taxi driver could have easily said, I tried, he didn't answer, ain't my problem. But you know what he did? That taxi driver got in his car immediately and drove over to Ron Kaufman's house or apartment or whatever it might be and knocked on his door to wake him up. So it's taking those, I mean, he's a taxi driver. He was never expected to be the person that's going to wake his customer up, but he did it. He went above and beyond and provided unbelievable service. Again, if you want a link to this, just let me know in the comments below. This is Ron Kaufman. I believe there's 12 videos on YouTube, and this is where he tells the taxi story and some other really, really great stories. I highly recommend it. These videos are somewhat older. They were filmed a while ago, but the information is excellent. He is a really, really good speaker. Increase lifetime value. So I got to get my paper for this one too, because there's more stats that I want to share with you. The attract a new customer is better than attracting a customer is more expensive than selling to an existing customer. So what do I mean by that? The probability of selling to an existing customer is 60 to 70% higher, while the probability of selling to a new prospect is just 5 to 20%. So the reason for that is if you already work with a company, so Apple, for example, we'll go back to the AirPod example, is if Apple releases something, I have an iPhone, AirPods, you can't see it, but I'm talking to you on a Mac. I have tons of Apple products. So if Apple releases something, I already know them, I trust them, I'm an evangelist. It would be very easy to convince me to purchase one of their new products. Whereas if there's this new company that comes up and says, hey, we're going to start selling cell phones, the likelihood of me buying a cell phone from them is very, very slim because I don't know anything about them. They're going to have to convince me of that over time. One more stat for you. Current customers are more willing to try your new product. Existing customers are 50% more likely and spend 30% more on average when compared to new customers, which translates to cross sales and upsells. Exactly what I was saying just about Apple. You know, if Apple comes out with, I don't know, the shiny new object and there's 3 versions of it, I'm likely to not buy the least expensive version because I know and trust Apple is going to offer something excellent and I'm going to want the best of the best because I'm an evangelist of Apple. What % of your marketing budget is allotted to attracting and keeping your customers? So a lot of people think of marketing just on the front end, like I need to market to all these people to get them to be my customer. But how much of your marketing budget is actually spent to keeping your customers and attracting your customers? That is super important because that is going to lead to referrals, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. Increase the lifetime value. There's 3 different options. So let's say that you own a pizza restaurant. We could add on to their sales. So possibly they're coming in there for a pizza. You could say, hey, do you want some breadsticks? Or hey, do you want a salad? That is adding on to their sale. An upsell would be, hey, you're getting this pizza, but you could get this new fancy crust that's $3 more. Do you want that? That would be an upsell. And then a cross sell would possibly be like if they're coming in there for pizza and you're selling like shirts or something that's a little bit different. Orchestrate referrals. So again, that is the importance of talking to these people over and over again and having them be your evangelist, having them get you referrals and say your name to other people so that other people want to become your client too. In order to get referrals, be specific, provide tools, and make it easy. So be specific. Say, hey, I am really looking for a new client in the cooking industry or the whatever industry. Be specific on what you're looking for. Provide tools. So perhaps you provide them with some kind of document or something that they can share with people. And then make it easy. You know, don't make it hard. If they say, hey, I have a prospect, but he wants to meet with you on Saturday at 5 p.m. Can you meet with him? Say yes. You know, don't say, no, I can only meet with him on Tuesday at 9 a.m. If that guy's not available at Tuesday at 9 a.m., he's going to go elsewhere. Make it easy on them. So DoubleTree, I'm sure you have been to a DoubleTree. They greet you with warm cookies. And it just really gives people an opportunity to talk about them. I'll never forget, I was coming home from a business trip several years ago, and I got delayed in Atlanta and I had to spend the night. And I wasn't happy about it. I was so ready to get home and I had to spend the night, but I went and stayed at a DoubleTree. And you're right, they greeted me with these cookies. And though it didn't make it better, I wanted to be at home in my own bed. The option of them just greeting me with a warm cookie just gave me a little sense of like comfort. And I talked about it. All right, so what's next? Think about this progression. Think about what this progression looks like in your business. What do the strangers look like? How can you reach out to them? The friends, customers. Spend some of your marketing dollars keeping and attracting your current customers. and making them into evangelists so that they tell their friends and their friends become customers. Knowing and not doing is the same thing as not knowing. So I'm very glad that you joined me for all this, but I really, really hope that you take it and you utilize it in your business. I'm here. If you have questions, let me know. You can send me an email. You can comment below. We will get back to you. I highly, highly recommend you downloading this document. It goes through all the 9 different categories that we just talked about, so you can specifically answer these questions for your business. I highly recommend filling out the customer avatar sheet. Again, if you want a copy of that, let me know. And watching those Ron Kaufman videos. You will not regret them, I promise. They're very entertaining. And just as a reminder, if you want a copy of this book, a free copy, comment below, let us know that you are watching, and we will notify the winner on Monday. So does anybody have any questions for me? I think Jessica's going to check on that and tell me if we have any questions so far. All right, well, we will give it another second or two. And let me know if you have any questions. By the way, this is a sneak preview of our new office. If you haven't known, we have expanded. If you try to come to our office, you would not go to the same door that you used to go to, the entrance door. It's a different door that's just, like a little bit farther down. And it looks really, really good in here. Blaine did an excellent job. Any questions, Jessica? Okay, well, no live questions right now, which is perfectly fine. I know a lot of people are going to watch this later and not right now. So if you have a question, like I said, just comment below, send me an email, whatever that might look like. Again, my name is Hanna Broom, and my email is Hanna, Hanna, @uglymugmarketing.com. Thanks for joining me. Talk to you later.